China preparing to roll out the red carpet to consolidate long-time and newfound friendships as it adjusts to shifts in the global order in trade and security. More than 20 world leaders will be heading to China for a security forum in Tianjin on the weekend. All this followed by a military parade in Beijing next week to mark 80 years since the end of World War II, which also marked the end of Japanese occupation of parts of China. A North Korea's leader will be there in Tiananmen Square alongside Russia's Vladimir Putin. Mr. Putin was at the same event 10 years ago, but not Kim Jong-un, who sent a senior official in his place then. Leaders from Iran and ASEAN countries like Indonesia, Vietnam, Malaysia, plus Myanmar's military chief Min Aung Hlaing will be there. So will leaders from Pakistan, Nepal and the Maldives. South Korea sent former and then impeached President Park Geun-hye in 2015. The parliament speaker will represent Seoul this year. Former Japanese Premier Yukio Hatoyama has been invited, but Tokyo had reportedly urged world leaders to skip this event, which Beijing officially refers to as the Chinese People's War of Resistance against Japanese aggression. Tokyo accusing the event of bearing anti-Japanese undertones. Also absent the US and major European nations, with the exception of Serbia, Slovakia and Russia's close ally Belarus. And while Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will make his first visit to China in 7 years for the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit that takes place Sunday to Monday, he's not expected to be at this parade. Mr. Modi was not present at the 2015 event either. New Delhi and Beijing have endured years of tension over their shared border, despite an easing in the past few months. Analysts drawing attention to what could be seen as a pivot to China, given tensions with Washington, most recently over tariffs. But they also warn that differences run very deep and very long between these two Asian giants. CNA's Si Hui tells us more.
After months of speculation, the guest list for China's upcoming Victory Day military parade has finally been unveiled. In the first of 3 news conferences ahead of its World War II anniversary on September 3rd, Chinese officials announced the guest list, hailing representation from across the globe.
这体现出各国对于中方举办这次纪念活动的高度重视和对中国人民的友好情谊。 二是代表性强，出席人员覆盖了世界5大洲，表明国际社会对中国抗战的历史贡献和世界意义的普遍认可。
But what has grabbed headlines is the presence of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, who will make a rare trip out of his country. His first visit to China in 6 years will see him feature alongside Russian President Vladimir Putin and Chinese President Xi Jinping, who all face tensions with the West. Absent, though, are top leaders from the United States and major EU countries, the only exception being the Prime Minister of Slovakia, Robert Fico. Analysts saying the absence could be a deliberate choice to avoid being seen as legitimizing China's military assertiveness in the region.
Only a select few major leaders from the West will be in attendance. Because clearly the West and China, they have some strategic issues that they need to resolve, and they are basically from opposing camps internationally after all.
China's parade next week is expected to involve tens of thousands of troops and showcase the country's latest military hardware. At the news conference, CNA asked about perceptions that the parade was a show of China's growing strength.
我们举行阅兵式，是为了彰显走和平发展道路的坚定决心，捍卫国家主权和领土完整的坚强意志，维护世界和平的强大能力。
The commemorative events are also taking place amid ongoing security tensions in the Taiwan Strait and South China Sea. The September 3rd parade in Beijing will take place just days after the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Leaders Summit in nearby Tianjin. That kicks off this weekend and is touted by China as the biggest gathering for the bloc to date. Some leaders are expected to be present at both events, and all eyes will certainly be on the kind of messaging that will be put out by Chinese leaders. Si Hui, CNA, Beijing.